Deb, I know that you are famously reluctant to talk about yourself, but I am going to ask you to tell us a little bit about your journey and how you arrived where you are and a little bit about your background.
Oh, awesome. Thanks, Sally. Yeah, I'm not great at talking about myself, I think. But I suppose in some respects, I do have an interesting story to tell. So I'm a born and bred South African, grew up here, and I started my career in HR. I very much almost fell into HR by, well, almost in a way, not by design. I definitely favored the idea of pursuing a career in business. But I had an aptitude for the people side of things. And what was very interesting for me was I started my career at Deloitte's, and I spent a few years both in consulting and then in-house in HR in Deloitte's. And I got a real taste for what HR could do for business, and how it could really shape amazing outcomes. But at the same time, I was young and inexperienced and wanting to travel the world and see things. I was working on a project actually out of our New York office for a while, and I got a bug for wanting to be able to travel, but I wanted to really experience new markets. I was very curious to experience beyond the world of financial services, beyond the world of professional services, and I wanted to therefore just go and spread my wings. So I spent certainly 11 years in the UK with General Electric, which
Okay.
was, I think, really for me quite career defining. Because at the time, I found my way into GE in an HR specialist role. And why that was so interesting was that at the time, GE was really a cornerstone of what HR was at the cutting edge, where we were going with enabling business and winning outcomes. The people and the financial components of a business were really the most influential in driving business outcomes. And GE very much valued their people and was very progressive in terms of people practices. So I spent 11 years there, and in that time, I moved from specialist roles into generalist roles, and I just had some amazing experience. What I loved about that environment was that every single role I did was vastly different,
Yeah.
and the one common theme that I think would hang all of my experience together was I went in largely with a blank slate, and I was never there as an HR paper pusher. I never did what we referred to in South Africa many years ago as personnel management. I never filled in forms and that kind of thing. I obviously had the benefit in the early 2000s of entering a global organization that was very digital at the time, and very much investing in digital solutions. So having access to data, having access to dashboards, having access to digitized process was something I just thought was completely normal. And it freed me up to be able to play a business advisory role. And
Okay.
I suppose quite importantly from that experience, what it taught me was that the you can be great in HR if you understand the business. And I really invested a lot of time and effort going out into the field, understanding the markets that we were
Mm.
in, and really exploring the commercial side of the business, what was going to make us money, what wasn't, and so that I could speak credibly about the environment that I was ultimately there to enable. So really exciting. And then I came back to South Africa, and did that in a little over 10 years ago, and landed in the banking sector in South Africa, which was a little bit like a rude awakening, because I discovered that the world of HR was manual. It was very archaically process orientated, very inefficient, and very, very full of people. So I went from having small lead HR teams working for me in a global context, and then coming back to South Africa and finding we had these large amounts of people having to do what digital could achieve for us. So I did have, as I say, a bit of a rude bump and down to earth, but have made my way through a number of financial services environments, and more recently landed up at Nedbank, where I now head up the people practice. And it is a huge privilege to have this role. First of all, it's an amazing organization that very much speaks to me personally in terms of aligning to my personal value set and purpose. But I think most importantly, the opportunity to come into an environment, open-mindedness, willing to invest in a transformation in the HR function so that we can be cutting edge, deliver market leading client solutions that really are going to set us apart from the market and really deliver impact. So, it's been an exciting journey, and obviously I'm far from out of the woods yet, but continuing on a very exciting journey ahead of me. Thanks.